Most people cut their hair without ever asking a simple question. What happens if you just don't? Does it grow forever? Does it hit the floor and keep going? Do you eventually trip on it? No. And the reason is genuinely strange. Turns out, your body already decided the answer before you were born. Here's everything in 6 chapters. Chapter 1. The timeline. Your hair grows about ½ an inch a month. That's 6 inches a year. Sounds slow, until you realize that means every strand on your head is growing 6 inches per year, which, if you added it all up, comes down to, well, I don't know, but a lot. Let's see the timeline. Month 1, you just look like you missed a haircut. Month 6, things are getting shaggy. Year 1, it's past your shoulders. By year 3, you're sitting on it. Year 5, it's below your knees. But here's the thing. Year 7 hits and it's grown 10 feet. Nah, I'm just kidding. After that, it just stops growing. Not because it got tired, because it literally died. And did you know that your hair doesn't grow from the tip? It grows from the root, from a follicle buried in your scalp. Cells divide at the bottom, push upward, and die. What you see above your skin? Already dead. Every single strand. You have been cutting dead cells your entire life. And that brings us to Chapter 2, which explains why it dies on schedule. Chapter 2, the expiration date. Every single hair follicle on your head has a built-in expiration date, and it comes down to 3 phases. Phase 1, anagen, where it's actively growing. Phase 2, catagen, where it slows and detaches. Phase 3, telogen, where it rests before the whole thing starts again. If your anagen phase runs for 2 years, your hair caps out around a foot. If it runs for 7, you're looking at 3.5 feet. Then it stops, falls out, gets replaced, and the cycle resets. This is called your terminal length, the maximum your hair will ever reach no matter how long you go without cutting it. It's not about products, not about diet, it's hard-coded in your DNA before you were born. And this also explains something you've probably never thought about. Chapter 3, the body hair. Why don't your eyebrows grow past your nose? Why does your leg hair stop at 1 centimeter or 2? Why doesn't your armpit hair ever need braiding? Because the anagen phase for body hair lasts weeks. Not years, weeks. Your eyebrow follicles hit their time limit almost immediately. They grow, they stop, they shed. That's it. Your body decided long ago that you don't need eyebrow hair past a certain length, and it has enforced that decision every single day of your life without you noticing. Every part of your body has its own terminal length. All of them different, all of them predetermined. But some people push that limit further than others. Way further. Chapter 4, the record and the cost. The longest hair ever recorded belonged to Shi Chuping of China, 18 feet, 5 inches. She started growing it in 1973 and didn't stop. That's longer than a giraffe is tall. But here's the cost of growing long hair. At that length, hair weighs several pounds. It creates real tension on the scalp. That constant pull causes something called traction alopecia, where your hairline literally starts receding because your hair is too heavy for its own roots. So your hair can actually make you go bald. Then there's the tangling. Hair at that length doesn't behave like hair anymore. It mats, it clumps. Sections of it can lock together permanently, a condition called plica neuropathica, where hair fuses into a single mass. Irreversible without cutting. And the third one is neck pain. Several pounds pulling your head back slightly all day for years. Your posture changes. Your neck compensates. So no, it doesn't just grow forever and look great. At a certain point, your hair starts having consequences. But it's not all bad. Chapter 5, the upside. Across human history, long hair has meant something. Warriors, monks, royals, growing your hair was a signal. And your body actually agrees. Hair is a natural insulator. In winter, it keeps heat in. In summer, it shields your scalp from UV. It's literally built-in sun protection. Most people just chop off. There's also a psychological effect. Studies have shown that the act of growing something, committing to a long-term, visible process, actually boosts patience and self-discipline. Your hair becomes a progress bar you wear on your head. And socially, long hair changes how people perceive you. Research suggests it's associated with youth, health, and creativity. Chapter 6. The Loop. So what actually happens if you stop cutting your hair? It grows. It reaches its terminal length, the one written in your genes before you took your first breath. Then it stops, sheds, and regrows to the same length, over and over. And here's the part that gets me. You'll cycle through this process about 25 times in your life. 25 complete resets. The hair you have right now isn't the same hair you had 2 years ago. None of it is. You can cut it, you can dye it, you can spend $1,000 on products, but the length it will reach, that was never your decision. It was made in a cell, before you existed, by a set of instructions that don't particularly care what you think about it. The follicle just does its thing. It always has. Don't subscribe if you didn't like this video.